Hi, welcome to She's Got Flavor. This is your real estate guru, Utokia Langley. Today I'm going to share with you a recipe for an Italian hoagie, New York style. This show is dedicated to two angels. I had two family members pass away recently in my family, and I want to dedicate this show to them because they love the Italian hoagie, New York style, better known as number 4 in New York. So shout out to Jefferson and shout out to my family. Okay, so the first thing that we have is I have a baguette, and I got this from the grocery store, and all I did was cut off the edges, and as you can see I cut everything on a slant. We also have some mayonnaise, but of course you can use mustard if you don't like mayonnaise on your sandwiches. For our dressing for our Italian hoagie, New York style, we're going to make it from scratch, and we're making it with some olive oil, some canola oil, some red wine vinegar, basil leaves, oregano, rosemary, garlic powder, and some thyme. So that's going to be really fantastic. And then we're going to top it off with some sea salt and some fresh ground black pepper. And also I forgot about I did tell you about the red wine vinegar. And here are our vegetables that is going to go on our sandwiches. We have tomatoes, we have some shredded lettuce, and I wasn't able to find the shredded lettuce in the grocery store. So all I did was I had some romaine lettuce and I just cut it up really fine because this is the style of lettuce they use for the Italian New York style hoagie. I also used some red onions, but of course that is up to you. You don't have to use it, you don't want to. I actually love onions on my sandwich. So. For our meats, we have just 3 meats, but they're very important to the New York style hoagie. That is Genoa salami, some cooked capicola, and you want to get the hot cooked capicola, not the sweet, and then some ham. And you can use any kind of ham you like. I've chosen to use the Virginia ham, but you can use honey baked ham, any kind of ham that you like. And then lastly, we have our cheese. And I've chosen to use American cheese, but of course you can use any kind of cheese you like. You can use Swiss, provolone, cheddar, whatever you like. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my baguette and I'm just going to pull the doughy pieces out of the middle of it. I'm just going to make a well. Now this is an option for you. You don't have to do it this way, but I don't like my bread to be really thick and just bready. So you can leave it on if you like. It's a good option for those people that are trying to watch their figure. You can get rid of some of this thick bread that is usually within a baguette. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread my mayonnaise here, and you can be as generous or not as you like depending on your taste buds. And then I'm just going to spread it on nice and thick so every part of the bread has some mayonnaise. Okay, I used just a little bit too much on that side, so I took it off. And there we go. So now our bread is nice and prepped and ready. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to layer my meats. And you really can do this in any form or style that you like. I'm just going to start with the ham, and we're just going to layer it on top of one another. And you can be generous with the ham here, all of your meats. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is layer my hot cooked capicola. Very important to the New York style hoagie. The stuff is delicious. And then the last thing I have is my Genoa salami. And I asked them in the grocery store to cut this up really thin for me because I like to layer a lot of Genoa salami because it's my favorite meat on the New York style hoagie. But you can put more or less depending on what type of meats you like best. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is layer our cheese. So we just put our cheese on, and again, you can use any kind of cheese you like. If you like provolone or Swiss better, that's fine. It works just fine in this recipe. Okay, now we're going to move on to our vegetables here. I'm going to layer my tomatoes. And if you notice, I had a really big, fat, juicy tomato. and I just cut it really thin. All right. Okay, so now before we put on our lettuce and our onions, we're gonna make our dressing for our Italian hoagie. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use about 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and then I've added about 4 teaspoons of the canola oil to this. So I'm gonna put that into a bowl. All right, then we're gonna add 1/4 cup of our red wine vinegar. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is all my seasonings that I mentioned earlier, I just used about 2 tablespoons each, put it in a bowl, and then I'm just going to dump it right on in. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to whisk that together. Whisk it up really nice so that it can get incorporated and marry with one another. Now, normally what I would do is I would take this mixture and I would put it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours or so, just so that the flavor can be absorbed by the red wine vinegar and the olive oil and the canola oil. But it's just fine to use it immediately if you like as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this dressing and I'm going to drizzle it all over my tomatoes. And what you could do is you could actually get like an empty ketchup bottle or mustard bottle, you know, those little plastic ones, and pour this in and shake it up and just squirt it on. But I don't have that today, so I'm just going to put it on myself. Now, you don't want to put too much of this, but you want to put just enough so that your sandwich is not soggy, but it's definitely juicy. All right, so now that we have our dressing on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to top that dressing with some sea salt and some fresh ground pepper because I love the flavor. This is She's Got Flavor. So let's put a little bit of sea salt on there. Grab my ground pepper. Put a little bit of that on top. All right. Now this sandwich is already juicy. All right. Now let's add our onions. And again, you don't have to use the onions if you don't want. And I'm just going to use a few of them because onions can definitely be quite potent. All right. There we go. All right. And then what I'm going to do is add my lettuce on top. There we go. Oh, this looks great, guys. All right. All right. So this is it. Now I'm going to top it off with my bread. There we go. All right. So here's our Italian hoagie. Now, if you like, you can get some bread that is not as wide or big as this if you're doing a personalized sandwich. But for this one, I was thinking, since it's football season, we can cut them up nice for your guests. So each person can just come up and grab one of these beautiful Italian style New York hoagies. And they will be so happy. Give them a beer to go along with this, and they'll sit back and watch the game and just be in heaven. All right, so take a look at this. This is how beautiful it looks on the inside. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Looks beautiful. Hey guys, now there's only one thing left for me to do, and that is to taste this beautiful Italian hoagie New York style. All right, here we go. Let's see. Grab one of these big ones. Doesn't that look juicy? Yes, yes, yes. This is heaven. And as you can see, quite messy. But usually messy means really good. Okay, well, thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope that you're able to make it for your family and friends, maybe for football. And don't forget that I am a licensed real estate agent in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Your friends and family can visit me at www.langleyrealtysolutionswithans.com. And I'll talk to you later because I'm about to tear this sandwich up. All right, She's Got Flavor. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.